Look, I'm stood here costumeless, okay? I don't have a costume this year, and you're probably disappointed that I haven't got one for this video. I didn't have a Halloween party this year, I'm sorry guys, but what I do have this year for you is a list of essential albums for your Halloween soundtrack. Yes, that is correct. I am sure at this point you're sick of the same songs every friggin' year coming on at Halloween. Thriller, sure, you might be sick of it at this point. So you want some new music to play while you're hosting an exciting, fun Halloween party. At the end of the day, you might not be playing that kind of music. You might want to just play some bangers, but in case you want something a little different, I'm providing some 5 albums here that have never been mentioned before for Halloween. I don't think they have anyway, but I'm going to pretend that they haven't to prove that this video is worth your time. Whether it's the lyrical content or the concepts of the tracks themselves that have a dark, sinister edge that make it feel very Halloween-esque, or in fact, it's the sound, the vibe of the album itself, the aesthetic, the sonic sensibilities, if you will. Or it's in fact a combination of both of those things and more to make it feel very Halloween inspired or feel very much perfect for that kind of vibe. So these are my 5 picks. I'm sure you'll be shouting at your phone or your laptop or your TV to come out with other picks that you want to see in this list. You should comment them below because they might have slipped my mind. They might not be ones that have immediately come to mind, but these are the 5 that I'm going with that I think you should be giving a try if you're hosting any Halloween parties this year. Hopefully you enjoy the video. Check out my Patreon as well. If you want to request more videos like this, you can join me over on there, join my Discord server and request your own videos in the future. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy this one. It's a little bit fun, a little bit of different video from the Essential series that I wanted to include. Let's go.
Something in this room didn't used to be. Gin bottle to the face, can't fool a G.
For me, this is like the essential album now whenever I think of Halloween. The one album that inspired me to do this whole video, actually. The one album that now I just immediately associate with a Halloween themed album for any time, you know, Halloween comes around, because this album is so perfect for it, man. It really grew on me at the time as well. Once I'd originally reviewed it to the end of the year, I really became so impressed with the lyrical concepts of this album. You know, the way it kind of takes horror tropes, the history of horror films, spins them on their head and just adds its own interpretation to so many tropes that you've seen in horror films of many years. You know, you've got tracks like about, you know, the final girl, or you've got tracks about like zombies and things. It's fantastic. It's really, really well written. Daveed Diggs is an absolute monster of a writer. The concepts he comes up with every time are challenging, they're interesting, they're unique, they're pushing things forward to places that we haven't really seen music go, and this album is perfect for that. It's eerie, it's frightening at times, it's such a cool album. You've got to keep attentive to the lyrics throughout listening to it, because you will pick up on all these things that I've just said throughout. It's perfect for Halloween. Okay, look, I know there is literally a song called Halloween on this album that is very much perfect for Halloween, and yes, you could just pick this one song from it. But hear me out when I say that this is not just an on-the-nose pick for this choice here, because you do have a very, very gloomy, despondent, kind of eerie atmosphere across all of this album that I think is really, really fantastic. They channel such a great energy. I think this style of music generally could honestly be picked for Halloween soundtracks, because it is so dark and gloomy and depressing sounding. And I've already mentioned this before in a previous Essentials video, but I couldn't not mention Siouxsie and the Banshees here again, because I do think this gloomy aesthetic will really, really be perfect for that kind of spooky feeling you want to conjure up on Halloween. Okay, yes, look, there is a song called Welcome to Hell and the album's called Hellfire. Perhaps I'm going a little on the nose, but hear me out. There is more to what meets the eye with just the one song, or maybe the title of the album here. Because again, with similarly to Siouxsie and the Banshees, I do think the overall atmosphere and vibe of what Black Midi is able to conjure up is honestly a little weird and relentless and just such a unique experience that I think you could find a way to usher this into sort of like Halloween soundtracks, particularly the song Welcome to Hell. I mean, literally that song is perfect for it. But even as a full album, I do think you do get that really odd vibe that you wouldn't necessarily get anywhere else from other albums or other artists. In fact, I think Black Midi in general are just one of the most unique bands going today, and I think there is a place for what they do on Halloween. Okay, look, it's predictable now, isn't it? The album has literally got scaring in the title. I'm probably sure I'm not doing it on purpose or just being too on the nose with these picks, because I do want to talk about why I think the album is perfect for Halloween. It's weird as hell. There is no one else out there making hip-hop music like this, let's be honest. Danny Brown individually was always one of the most unique artists around, and JPEGMAFIA is also individually one of the most unique artists around. And while I didn't absolutely shower this album with praise, I didn't absolutely love it, I do like it. And I think even if I didn't like it, I'd still recommend this album, because honestly, if you want to just feel like your mind is about to explode, particularly around people that you may have never introduced this type of music to before, I think Halloween is the best time of year to play this. I mean, if you want to freak some kids out, why not play some, why not play some of this? Why not play some of this? This is going to freak everybody out. It's just so odd and quirky, and of course the beats and the mixing is all over the place across this album. That just gives you probably a bit of a headache if you really can't consume this type of music, to be honest with you. It is a very terminally online choice, I will admit that, but yeah, I think there's something to this one. And finally, Anna von Hausswolff with Dead Magic, an album that I don't really see get mentioned nowadays. I do think people who liked it back then, including me, still probably like it, because I definitely do as well. But I suppose the eeriness of this album isn't something you're going to be able to play on a regular basis. You know, you're just not going to see people bring this type of music up on a regular basis because of how it sounds. But honestly, similarly with Clipping, I think these two albums are like the most essential picks, because this album really does sound like it is soundtracking a horror film throughout most of it. I mean, those organs, those really, really epic, grandiose musical moments that feel so, like gives you shivers. It really feels like you're walking through a haunted mansion on your own, and you're just really just scared the whole time. I mean, like for a better word there, you're just scared all the time, and you feel like something's about to creep up on you. And it does sound like that kind of atmosphere is perfectly captured on this album. It really is. There's so many just haunting, disturbing moments, and even some of the vocal inclusions sometimes just sound really freaked out. It's a really good pick for this one, I think. If you're just kind of like introducing people into like your Halloween party and you need something to like, you know, for people to walk into, I think some of these tracks would be perfect for it, honestly. So that is my pick here as well. I'm going with Anna von Hausswolff as my 5th pick. And that is it from me. I'm going with these 5 choices. I think there is a place for all of these albums for your Halloween parties this year. Please let me know your thoughts on my picks here. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video as well, a little bit different for the Essential series. And yeah, I'd absolutely love to know your picks, like based on experience. If you've done anything a little bit different for any Halloween parties in the past, please comment below and let me know, or any just albums you think that would work really well. Let me know your thoughts. Check these albums out and see what you think if you've never listened to them before. Have a good Halloween. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my Patreon as well, and goodbye.